Wow. He beat me again. He dug up the hole. One of the scent holes I have. This is my compass set. He never stepped on the pan. Pan is right there. Wow. How much bad luck can I have? We have treed a coon. He's sitting there looking right back at me. Look at that. Caught him napping up in the tree. See if we can get a shot at him. Okay. Now we have a big old catch circle here. Big coon. Just shot a little coon out of a tree. But look at that ruined set. Okay. Let's take it. This was the set that was dug up. So maybe it was the coon that dug it up, not a fox. Nice colored coon. Alright, let's take care of the coon and we'll see if we do a remake on this. I don't know whether anything's going to come to that now. He ripped it up really good like coons do. I'll remake it and see what comes to it. You can see where he scratched it all up. He has it mounded up in the center around him there. I think I have a rear foot catch on him there. This was that flat set, that compass set I had that I showed you that was dug out. Alright, let's see. I'm not going to do too much closer to him. I'm going to stress him, but... Alright, nice coon catch. Let's get him taken care of. Okay, I know it's kind of hard to see, but... This is that catch circle from that coon yesterday. My battery just died last night because of the cold. I took that big coon out of this set yesterday. Now, you can see all the way around here where he dug this whole set up. Now you see there's a mound that I set behind. This was a compass set, it was a flat set. Well, that coon completely destroyed it. So what I did was, I made a big dirt hole in it. You can see it right there. Then I put backing from that, where the coon dug it, I stretched it out across the back, and then I stretched it out across the front. So I have a clear trail that leads through the mound. Now, if I shine the light right about there, that's where my trap is. So anything that, I'm hoping a canine comes to it, it's going to be encouraged to go through that clear trail and stay away from here and stay away from here, because the bait hole is right there. Of course, this is loaded with coon scent now, but I haven't had any success with canines this year, man. They've been avoiding me. Nothing but coons. But we'll see. See, I had to just make do with what was the trap was already anchored in the ground, so I didn't have the equipment with me to pull it out, so I just modified the set and made it as best I could. Like I said, with the trail going through it, that might help it too. The prevailing wind from this set actually goes that direction. It goes down the hill. Although sometimes it switches and it'll come across the path too, back towards me where I'm standing now. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe it'll work. Okay, cold November morning. It's opening day, rat and mink. Water trapping season opens today. I'm here at a muskrat pond. Don't see too much activity. Trapped this pond hard 2 times last 2 seasons. I'm going to put traps out just in case there's a mink coming in. There may be a rat or 2 in here, we'll have to see. This is the setup I'm using here. It's 110 on a stand that I made myself. This is going to go right to the bottom of the pond, and then I'll put that trap right in the run, and hopefully we'll catch some rats, maybe a mink. Maybe we'll get lucky like I did last year. It's pretty cold today. There's actually ice, a little bit of ice on the water, but that's okay, we don't mind that. Alright, let's get to setting these traps. Another style stake I have here. This is a little bit longer for using in deeper water. But you can see, instead of making the H stand where you would have the other leg on this side, I used the conibear keeper and I welded it to the frame on the bottom here, so it just holds it. Then there's no frame on this side. Just loop your chain on, loop your spring over, and then you set the conibear on the keeper. And they seem to work really well. Holds the trap nice and steady. Hopefully we'll get to see one in action. Here's a third type of stake if you're dealing with a little bit harder ground. This one I welded 6mm rod to rebar, and then I again welded the conibear keeper on the bottom of it here. Same thing, just a single stake. You can make the stake as long as you want, so you can, you know, put it in as deep in the water as you know, however you want. And it stakes the trap as well. You know, the bar stakes the trap down, so I've never lost a rat, or I've never had one pull out, you know, any of these sets. They've always been right there, right where I got them. All right, let's get setting some more. Okay, here's a little trail set that I made last year. I didn't catch anything in it last year, but that doesn't mean I won't this year. As you can see in the bottom, it's two plates of 1/4-inch steel. I have holes drilled in the end here where I have the traps anchored to, wired into. Then I had the conibear keepers welded to the bottom of it, so it actually holds 2 traps in a row. So for putting it on a muskrat trail, I'll catch 1 rat in the first trap. Hopefully it gets out of the way, and then my second trap is still going to work. Or the same for a mink. If I get a rat coming through and you know, the rat gets caught, or a mink comes through and the mink gets caught, I still have 1 trap operating. This is where I'm going to put it. I'm going to put it right here. There's a creek that runs along here, and then there's rat droppings on the rock here, and that's the only fresh rat sign that I found here. So they're using the rock as a toilet, but I'm going to put the trap here between the rock and the edge of the bank, because they're working up this little drainage creek up to my pond. So hopefully if a mink comes in through it there, he swims up through it, we'll get him as well. I'm going to maybe block it off a little bit more on this side to encourage him to come through here. But if there's a rat or a mink swimming up there, maybe we'll get him. Never know, gotta try it. Okay, there's our final set. You see that this creek bottom here, let me hold on. Get this camera here. Okay, the creek bottom here is so hard. I can't drive a stake into it. I can't drive an anchor into it. But so that's why I use the metal plate. The metal plate is going to anchor the trap down. You can see here I blocked it off a little bit more to encourage them to come through the open hole. And then I have the trap plate wired to the tree here in case I get a coon that wants to stick his hand through there or stick his head through there. I don't think anything's going to drag that metal plate too far. It weighs about 3 pounds, so we'll see what we get. I did put a little bit of mink lure on the limbs that I have stuck in the bank on the side here, so that lure is going to drift down into the water and it's going to carry the lure out into the creek. The creek is flowing this direction, so hopefully anything coming from this side is going to smell that and come and try and have a look and see. It's starting to rain now. Time to get home. See what happens with these traps. Okay, dropped in a weasel box here. I have it baited with squirrel, or with pieces of squirrel, at least the head and stuff, hide that I don't use. So there's a trail that works along here. My other traps are here. The feeder creek is here. My other traps are right about there. There's a little trail that works up this way along the edge of the creek. So tucked in the bush there. I also have it wired off to the tree here on the advice of Mr. Rendezvous, just in case. I have caught possums in these before, where the possum put his hand in the hole to, you know, searching around for the bait and got caught in the trap, and then he couldn't get out, of course. I have a #1 Victor trap inside the box there, and then the bait is at the back, and I have holes drilled in the back of it. These are pretty freaking heavy too. I made them out of pressure treated timber, so they're not light. But I did, like I said, I did wire it off to the tree here. Catching a weasel here, that's pretty tough. My buddy, the Untitled Trapper, he's been after a weasel as well, and man, I had sets out last year for him, never caught, all I caught were mice. Hundreds of mice, no weasel. Now, a mink might fit in that hole too, so I'm not gonna, you know, rule out the possibility of hooking up a mink in there as well. We'll have to see, but we'll see what happens. Time will tell. But even if I didn't catch anything, I wanted to show you, you know, the set up and, you know, where I had them and what we're trying to get. Trapper Joe had told me that, you know, along creeks is good for weasel. That they, you know, he catches weasels close to creeks, so we'll see. Well, I've been checking this box for a week now, my weasel box. I have no rats out of the pond, so I presume that my previous efforts trapping have reduced the numbers enough that they're not coming back into the pond. I did see a little bit of rat sign along the creek here. Not much though, not like I did last year where it was absolutely flooded with rat sign. I did put traps out just in case there was a mink walking by, but I came to my box today and there's muddy footprints all over the top of it. I don't know whether it's a coon. You can see the prints here. It might be a cat. See the print right there? It's a bigger print right here. See the back pad and then the front pads. Now the trap, I opened the box. The trap, as you can see, I've already caught mice in it. But the trap has been set off. So I don't know whether something reached in there to try and get the bait. You can see what I have for bait in the back there. Some squirrel heads and feet and pieces. And the mouse, one of the mice I caught in here as well. I did have some lure on the back of the trap as well. A mink lure on the back of the trap. I figure the weasel is the same family as the mink, so he might come to the same scent. But I'm going to reset it. See what happens. I might put a dog proof in down here, just in case it was a coon. Alright, let's reset it and we'll see what happens. Well, something went in this little weasel box bad. Came down today, it's flipped over. Upside down, rolled it over. It's probably a coon, I would imagine. I'm looking for some sign. I don't see any. He rolled it right over into the dish. See, those are the footprints that were on it the other day. It is wired off, so they can't pull it too far, but... Alright, let me reset it. I think I'm going to put a dog proof in here. See if I can get him to come back, because something is definitely messing with it. Alright, let me reset it. Pulling water sets here out of the ice. Water's frozen. No rats this year, no mink this year. Time to move on. I checked these sets now for almost 3 weeks. So we have no activity. Pond's going to start to freeze over. Expecting snow tomorrow. I'll be back deer hunting tomorrow. So I'm going to pull these sets out here and see if we see any deer tomorrow. Back to land trap.